And it goes to something that I've never spoken about on my show. When I first went to Washington back in '88, our research, as I mentioned, got a lot of play. And then in 1989, I was asked to testify in front of Congress on the power of prevention. And it was quite an experience. And I write about it in my book, The Awakening of a Surgeon, about this testimony. But right after the testimony, and I would never do this now, based on actually who I pissed off and who I've met over time, but this guy comes up to me after I've testified, and he said, Dr. Janda, Lee Atwater, the chairman of the Republican Party, would like to have a meeting with you. Oh, well, okay. Follow me, we'll get in my car and we'll drive over. Now, Sarah, this is something, Dave Janda, I mean, I was naive back then, and it was a different time. But I would never follow somebody, let alone get in somebody's car, okay? We get in this car, we drive
You
over
wouldn't come out of the car, or if you did, it'd be out of the car in some weird area, but keep going.
Yeah, I don't think I'd, yeah, I don't mean. So, yeah, right. So, get out of the car, big white building, go in, it's Republican National Headquarters, go upstairs, and here's Lee Atwater, he's sitting at his desk, feet are up on the desk, he has boots on, he's playing the guitar, TV's over his head. He goes, Dr. Janda, sit down. Sit down. He goes, he points to the TV, he goes, I was watching you on C-SPAN with your testimony. I go, oh. He goes, I thought you did a great job. I go, oh, well, thank you. He goes, no. The chairman of that committee, Natcher, is a real SOB. And he goes, I've never seen him back down, and you made him back down. He goes, understand something. Based on what I saw today, you have a really good skill of communications, and you're going to be approached to run for the House of Representatives or the Senate, governor, hell, he goes, for all I know, somewhere down the line, president. He goes, frankly, he goes, you'll win. He goes, you'll win because you connect with people. You connect with people. And it's obvious that you're not bought and paid for, and it's obvious that you're honest, and it's obvious that you're looking out for the welfare of people and not the corporations. He goes, people can smell that. And he goes, and you got it. And he goes, I'm going to give you some advice. He said, when they approach you, never do it. He goes, direct, and this is a conversation, Sarah, you know, there are certain conversations you have in life that stay with you. This is one I think about almost every day. He looked at me and he said, and I'll always remember these words, you are an albino in a sea of black. This city is evil. And he said, understand something. If you run for office, you will win. And they will kill you. And he said, I don't mean that figuratively. I mean that literally. He said, when you're on your way over here today, I did a little research. You're married. You have a nice wife. You have a daughter, red hair. Her name is Allison. I thought this was kind of creepy. And he looked at me and he said, if you expect your wife not to be a widow, and you expect your daughter to know who her daddy is, you'll never run for office.
Oh, my God. He was threatening you.
Well, so I looked at him, and I said, are you threatening me, or are you giving me friendly advice? And here's what he said, Sarah. He goes, no, I really like you. He goes, I really respect you. He goes, but understand something. Guys like you don't go far. You're not allowed to go far. They get rid of you, one way or the other. He goes, I'm telling you this as a friend. He goes, you're really good at the doctor thing. You're really good at the prevention thing. You're really good at the healthcare policy thing. He goes, do all of that, but never, ever run for office. And he goes, I'm telling you that as a friend.
Is he, though? Was he? Let me ask you. He says that they get rid of you. He was the head of the Republican Party. So when he says they get rid of you, wouldn't he be a they?
I think he was a low-level part of the they. I think they're much, what I've come
I agree with that.
is there are much greater powers that have much greater influence that call the shots. And even at his level as chairman of the Republican Party, he was saying, look, I'm at this level, but there are a lot of higher levels than me that call the shots, okay? And it's interesting. We had that meeting, and we stayed in touch. We stayed in touch, phone calls.
Wow,
he was really
okay.
a good guy. He was really a good guy.
So he probably he maybe really was looking out for you because it really is that bad.
Sarah, I initially thought it was a threat. That's why I asked him. I was right up front. Is this a threat, or is this friendly advice?
Well, I suppose a threat and friendly advice would be the same thing in that environment, but go ahead.
Yeah, but as time went on, we stayed in touch. Now, a year after we had this meeting, and we stayed in touch on the phone, he was given a speech. I believe it was in Washington, and he had a seizure, collapsed, and he was diagnosed with brain cancer, an astrocytoma. And about a couple weeks after that happened, I waited a little bit before I contacted him, and I called, and I got him, and I said, I'm so sorry to hear about what's happening, and anything I can do to help you, please let me know. And he was very nice and very kind, and he said, you know, Dave, I should have listened to my own advice when we spoke. And that was the last conversation we had. And he was his prognosis was terrible. And he was given 6 months to live from when he had this event. I believe it was in March. He lasted about a year, but he had significant problems. And during that year, he phoned and sent a number of letters to people that had been his opposition in campaigns, apologizing to them over the tactics that he took to defeat them.
Interesting. So from that, he was taken out by the powers that be. And I mean, you could read through that, maybe. You don't want to maybe go that far, but that's kind of what you read into it. And he wanted to make amends for his behavior.
Yeah, I mean, he developed brain cancer. So at the time, it's come out now through some declassified documents that government agencies have worked on programs to induce cancer. I can tell you this, cell phones were in their infancy when all this happened, and I can tell you that he constantly had a cell phone on his ear. Now, could there have been something in that cell phone that caused a situation that led to tumor? I don't know, maybe it was just bad luck, but I think he was like close to 39 or 40 when he developed brain cancer, which can happen. But it just, I can just tell you what he said to me when he said, I should have listened to my own advice when we spoke.